What is good, Ninja? OJ over here from Player Essence, and welcome to another video. Today we have some awesome information, but before we get into that, let's see if we can hit 500 likes for this video. So hit that like button and let's go ahead and jump right into it. And we are starting off with Masahiro Sakurai on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate when it was first proposed back in 2015. Faster tempo and much more. Now there is a ton of stuff to go over, guys. I don't want to go over everything that he had to say, so make sure you check out the link in the description below. I just wanted to talk about some of the finer points from what he had to say. So this game, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, was first proposed back in 2015 while Sakurai was still working on DLC for Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and Nintendo 3DS. So he was actually juggling like, hey, what are we going to do for the next game and what are we going to do currently in this game that they have with Super Smash Bros. At the same time. So it kind of tells you the type of dude Sakurai is, that he could be putting together a brand new game while also working on the DLC for Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and Nintendo 3DS. Now another really cool thing about this is that the proposal in terms of what he put forward to Nintendo, and that is all the characters, everybody is here, and that was tough. That was tough, which he said that he'll talk about in a later part 2, he said. But at the same time, like in terms of the mechanics and what they're going to do there, he said that it's kind of more definitely like Smash 4, what they wanted to do there, or the roster would have been a third of the size. So he couldn't completely overhaul everything to the complete point to where it was just like a considerably different playing game. I mean, it still plays like Smash Brothers. You're still going to recognize it if you played Brawl or if you played Super Smash Brothers for Wii U and Nintendo 3DS, but there are a number of changes to the mechanics of the game that make it fresh and new, which he did talk about in this column. He discussed how the mechanics or the physics in terms of when you get hit, the launch time is a lot shorter, so you move across the screen a lot faster than you did before in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and Nintendo 3DS, because this time they could have handled it, because the 3DS, it was hard. Like if they had the same timing or speed, it would have been hard to keep track of your character, but this time you can, because you have a bigger screen with the Nintendo Switch. You have an HD screen, so it's better quality, so you're going to be able to keep track when you're playing in portable mode. They also had a number of visual cues and things added in as well, but he also talked about one of my favorite changes, and probably the thing that's going to make this game a lot more tournament viable and just make it feel more fair for players when you're playing one-on-one, is the fact that you do more damage in one-on-one battles than you do in 4-player battles or 8-player battles, which can make things a bit speedier. He also talked about reducing some of the land lag and things like that when it comes to the game, just to make it a little bit faster. The jump speed has been increased. You can do some more movement options that were not available in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and Nintendo 3DS. This include the new aerial type of dodge. So this is fantastic. All of the changes that he's talked about here and what he wants to do, and like the tempo and the speed of the game, is really going to make it to where the one-on-one play, we could get 3 stocks, which would be absolutely great, because with the 2-stock match in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, you really have to play almost flawless in order to beat the good players in the game. If you SD or if something happens, I mean, you're kind of messed up because you only have 1 stock left, whereas with 3 stocks, you have a little bit more room for error, a little bit more room to adapt to your enemy, and overall, I think the better player is going to win more often in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate if they do the 3 stocks. If they do that, I think the better player will win more often, just because you're not constantly worried about being on your last stock after you make a mistake or something. So I think this is fantastic. Now, if you want to read the full thing, he said a lot more. I just kind of summed up some of the finer points, so make sure you check out the link in the description below and read everything that Masahiro Sakurai had to say on the matter. Alright, now moving into the next topic here. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Nintendo Switch and 3DS demos are now available for all of you guys to go and play. You can try out the new ports ahead of their July 13th release. So a demo for Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is now available for Nintendo Switch and 3DS via the Nintendo eShop. It went in Japan, I think yesterday or so, and then people were going there and playing the Japanese demo, and now we got it here in the West. So Captain Toad Treasure Tracker features over 70 courses, including Super Mario Odyssey themed miniature courses, as well as 2-player Joy-Con co-op. It will launch for the Nintendo Switch and Nintendo 3DS worldwide on July 13th. So Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is one of those games that I don't think got overlooked on the Wii U. I think it did really well for it being built off of Super Mario 3D World and kind of being a side game to that. It wasn't a full price release. This isn't going to be a full price release either, but at the same time, I do think that it's a really solid game to have over the summer. I think that it's like a summer fun type of game that you can play with your family, or you can just play by yourself if you want to play it. If you like those 3D and puzzle based type of gameplay action that Captain Toad gave you, this pretty much just takes takes everything and then expands upon it. And they're actually adding quite a number of things to Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. They've improved the gameplay. They've also added in a bunch of levels, and there's also Super Mario Odyssey based levels as well, plus 2-player co-op. They have a co-op mode in there, and then they added Nintendo 3DS, which is interesting too. So Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, this is one of the games that a lot of people felt could get ported over to the Nintendo Switch. When they first heard about the Switch, like, man, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, that'd be a good game to port over. Then we got the announcement, so it's good to see it, and I think this game is going to do very well because it sold over 1 million on the Nintendo Wii U, and that was the Wii U, so I'm guessing this one's going to do really good, anywhere from 2 million plus on the Nintendo Switch, just because it is a great looking game. It plays good. It's going to have a lot of cool and extra content. So if you haven't played Captain Toad Treasure Tracker yet and you're into that style of game, definitely pick it up on the Nintendo Switch next month. I think you're going to be in for a treat. So what do you guys think about Captain Toad Treasure Tracker on the Nintendo 3DS and the Switch? Are you going to be picking up the 3DS version? Do we have anybody that's actually going to buy the 3DS version, or maybe even both, just because you want to play it in 3D, then you also want to have the HD graphics of the Switch? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving to the final topic here, we have the Media Create sales for June 11, 2018 through June 17th, 2018. And Splatoon 2 was once again, or back at it, at the top spot. Now, it was kind of a slow week for Japan when it comes to software releases. There wasn't any huge selling titles. Actually, the highest selling title was Splatoon 2. And I think because of the Octo DLC, that's probably what pushed people more to buy it. But it wasn't even like it was that great in terms of the volume of sales. It was 15,715 units for this week, so no game sold more than 20,000 physical units in the Media Create sales charts. However, we did have quite a push when it comes to the hardware sales, because the Nintendo Switch was the top selling system, and that sold 48,062 units. That's actually around 8,000 units more than what it sold last week, because it sold around 40,000. So we're starting to see a little bit of a rise on the Nintendo Switch. I think Splatoon 2 with the Octo DLC kind of pushed a little bit more people to probably just go out there, buy a Switch, buy Splatoon 2, and buy the Octo DLC. Now, we also had a Record of Grand Crest War. That was a game from Bandai Namco that was only on the PS4 for some reason, and it didn't necessarily do too well because it only sold 11,871 units on the PS4. And while I was covering this game, I noticed that it just looked really bad. Like, I know graphics aren't everything, but it had like a dark and grimy kind of look to it that I don't think people found appealing at all when it comes to it. It could be a solid game. I haven't played it yet. Obviously, I don't think it's launched in the West. I don't know if there's even a Western launch date, but if you compare something like Shining Resonance Refrain, for example, compared to this game right here, the Record of Grand Crest War just looks horrible. It just does not look good. I don't like the muggy looks and the style and tone of what they're going for when it comes to the game, so I think that kind of took an effect on the sales. Now, that's just me, but 11,000, it sold less than Splatoon. It sold less than a lot of games that had already been out for quite a while, although it did place third on the charts here. But I do think that they might want to overhaul that for the next one in terms of the look, because it just didn't match the art style for what you see. It didn't match it. There wasn't a match for it, so that's unfortunate about that. In terms of PS4 and Xbox One, Xbox One X got like some type of miracle boost. The Xbox One X actually sold 733 units for this past week, which last week it only sold 56 units. So there was some Phil Spencering going on there. Maybe was that the E3 Kingdom Hearts effect? You can buy an Xbox One X for super cheap in Japan, so maybe like, hey, maybe I'll just get this and play Kingdom Hearts on this thing if they don't have a PS4, because I think a PS4 is more expensive. I'm not really sure, but either way, something happened, kind of awakened in the Xbox to get it to 733 units. Yeah, 733 units for this week. So not bad at all, not bad at all, but then again at the same time, really bad, because that's only 700 something units, where the Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4 are selling into tens of thousand units. Now onto the PS4, that actually sold pretty meh for this week. It was okay, 19,090 units for the baseline PS4, and then another 6,048 units for the PS4 Pro, so 25,000 units plus. When it comes to the software, Nintendo Switch had a pretty good amount in the top 10. Going down the list here, Splatoon 2 was number 1. At number 4, we have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with another 10,000 units. Number 5, there's Kirby Star Allies, which is still selling in the top 10. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is still selling in the top 10. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is over a year old at this point, still selling in the top 10. That was number 8 with another 7,000 units sold. And we just talked about how Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild hit over 1 million in Japan. Then also Super Mario Odyssey was number 10. Now there's a bunch of PS4 and Nintendo Switch games that kind of littered throughout the rest there, but it's good to see a lot of Nintendo Switch games in that top 10, as well as a couple PS4 titles as well. So overall, I think that it was a bit of a slow week, but hardware wasn't bad for Xbox in terms of what they usually do. Still really bad, but not as bad as usual. PS4 kind of had a little bit of a slow week. I mean, that's pretty much what it's selling though, right around 15 to 25, 26,000 units. I don't think it's going to get much better than that, just because the PS4 has literally gotten every single major Japanese franchise, from Final Fantasy, multiple Final Fantasy games, Dragon Quest. I mean, it's all been there. Monster Hunter, everything's been there on the PS4. I know probably Kingdom Hearts is going to boost things up a bit, and when Final Fantasy VII Remake finally comes out, but then again, at the same time, I mean, it's literally gotten every single major franchise Japan has. It's been thrown everything, and it's still not necessarily selling up to Nintendo Switch, so I don't think it's really going to get any higher than what it's doing. But then again, Sony did say that they're in the last phase of the PS4's life cycle, so it's to be expected. Now with the Nintendo Switch, there's still opportunities to grow. Obviously, we saw 8,000 units plus more here with no actual new games outside of, I think, like one of Kadokawa's games released, and it sold a couple thousand on the Nintendo Switch. But there's still a lot of room for the Nintendo Switch to grow, especially with Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, mainline Pokemon game coming out next year. We also have Fire Emblem coming out next year, Damon Cross McKenna. I think there's a lot of games that can push the Nintendo Switch. Even this year with Mario Tennis Aces, Octopath Traveler, there's going to be a number of games that come out. And I also think like Valkyria Chronicles 4, even though that game was already on PS4, I think that can help out here. And then of course Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which sold like gangbusters on the 3DS in Japan. I think that that's going to be a really big boost this holiday, along with Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. So what do you guys think about all the topics that we discussed here, from Captain Toad Treasure Tracker to the Media Create sales charts, and also Sakurai detailing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate on the Nintendo Switch? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Alright, Ninja, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Really helps us spread the content of Player Essence across the internet in addition to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon, Twitch, and YouTube live gaming pages and consider supporting Player Essence. When you do so, it gets you access to all sorts of cool benefits, perks, rewards, and emotes via YouTube sponsorship. So check out the link in the description below and consider supporting Player Essence right here on YouTube. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to Player Essence for this RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you, Ninja, for the next video. Peace.